Welcome everyone to DRC Tier 3 Season 5. It's round 12, the final race of the season. Everything apart from the championship itself is still to play for in the Drivers' Championship. And in fact, the Constructors' Championship is still all to play for. Every place is still up for grabs. And today I'm joined by Ollie, who's usually doing Tier 1. Ollie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm ready to go here in tier three. I know a lot of the guys in this tier, but I haven't commentated on them before, so it's going to be interesting to see what the racing's like.
Indeed. The racing should be good. It's usually good. We're at Interlagos today, which is a track known for good racing, and we'll be just getting into qualifying here momentarily. I know you don't watch Tier 3 or know Tier 3 that well, but Wilton has just won the championship as of last
Yep.
race. That was confirmed a few days ago, and that was written in my previous article on Tier 3. But everything else is still to play for. There are still three drivers in contention for second place in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It is. It's a busy championship, that's for sure. I think it's been a real mixed bag of results for a lot of people, and that means that we've got a really, really close battle in the standings, just due to people having those kind of jumps and dips in performance, you know. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it ends up.
Indeed. And qualifying here will begin. I have so many audio issues on the game right now. I do apologise. But of course, the Constructors' Championship as well. That's still all to play for. No one has guaranteed the spot. I believe Red Bull are currently in first, but I don't think Ferrari are too far behind them, if I do remember correctly.
Um, so we've got Red Bull in first with 200 points. Alfa Romeo have got 186. So unless both Red Bulls finish outside the points, and Alfa Romeo need to bring home 25 more points than Red Bull do. So it needs to be realistically a 1-2 finish from the Alfa Romeo boys. I can see there being a 1 because I know that this is Scrub's favourite track by a long way. In fact, he said to me that he didn't bother practicing for Abu Dhabi. He's been practicing for this for 2 weeks.
And
So yeah, I think that
just
tells you. I think that tells you how much this track is one of his favourites.
and sorry, just to correct you on that, it is actually only 15 points that Alfa Romeo need to score more than Red Bull, which is much more doable. Um, it's only 14 points between them right now.
Yes, sorry, I thought they were at 176, not 186. 14, that's very much doable. Um,
It is.
it'll be. I think it's all going to come down to. I don't want to call them second drivers because so far, you know, Corny is ahead of Scrub and Tundra isn't far behind. It isn't miles off the pace. But I think it's going to come down to Corny and Tundra today in terms of where those guys can finish. Because I think Wilton and Scrub will very much be at the front based on what I know of the two of them. I've known both of them for quite a long time. So I know their pace quite well. So it'll be interesting to see where those guys end up.
Indeed, and Corny has actually just started his first hot lap of the evening, one of the first hot laps of the evening overall. And I don't know who I'm actually expecting to go pole here. I think Wilton's in with a good chance. Scrub's in with a very good chance as well. But other than that, is it just going to be between them, or are we going to see a really close qualifying here?
I mean, obviously, we could see Splat Beef up there, possibly Farwaz as well. Those guys tend to make an appearance at the front end. If not in qualifying, then definitely by the end of the race, they tend to be up there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The first car on a lap is coming to the line. It's Dragon. He's coming to the line in the Williams. It's a 108.5. That is not a disrespectful lap time at all, but I expect it's a little bit further off the pace than he'd like to be. Wilton's disqualified from the session for being parked in a dangerous location whilst getting out of the way of cars on hot laps. He's been disqualified from the session. There's your first controversy of the night.
So, Wilton has been disqualified from the final session, or the final qualifying session of the season. Now, of course, Wilton, while having the drivers' standings completely under control, that's it. He's won it. He's still got a team game to play here. He and Tundra still have a lot of work to do to get the constructors championship up there, and that's gonna really be the first hurdle they're gonna have to jump over when the race comes through.
Yeah, I mean that could be it. I'm going to do a Will Buxton here, but this could have massive championship implications for Red Bull. That is just the last thing they needed at this point in time was to encounter a problem like that. Just absolutely the last thing they needed.
It is absolutely the last thing they needed. But I'm currently seeing here, Alfa Romeo definitely have the qualifying advantage right now. Obviously, we haven't seen Tundra actually come out of the pit lane to start a lap, as we see the Ferrari of Racing Mouse have a few issues on their in-lap, and they're spinning all over the place. I hope they haven't lost the car too badly. I need to try and fix a couple of these audio issues that the game's currently having. I'm just going to see if I can fix that. No, still messed up. We're going to have some audio issues just for the entire session now. I do apologise about that. But we're going to see here. The drivers now started to come into the pit lane. I think almost everyone's actually managed to set a lap here, which is very unusual. We usually see a few more invalidations on the first lap. But why has Chris only got a 1:48? Did I miss something on that lap?
I believe it was just possibly a spin where he managed to stay on track for him in that session, unfortunately. He's not the only driver who's a little way off the pace at the moment. So is Kazuto in the second Mercedes. He had an off track on his first lap and backed out. He had a moment on his first lap and backed out, which has now put him at a rather large disadvantage. Quite a lot of cars are doing a double push lap here, I don't know whether it's out of choice or whether it's due to invalidation. Scrub, for example, did a double. He started pushing, the lap got away from him, so he charged up the battery and went again and managed to put himself fourth. So that's going to be important because he's only 3/10 off the pace, but that was on 2-lap-old tyres. So we'll see what he can do on a fresh set. I expect it'll be a rather significant improvement on that.
Indeed, and Kiko has got provisional pole right now. Now this has come out of absolutely nowhere. I've not seen the pace from Kiko throughout this season that I have from other people. So I just wonder, is this McLaren just found some extra pace out of nowhere? Is Kiko in contention for getting a good position here, and could possibly this also have further championship implications?
Well, yeah, I mean, realistically, what both Red Bull and Alfa Romeo need is for there to be no one in front of them and everyone in front of the other team, respectively. And Kiko getting involved, especially right at the front end, and Dragon as well with a 108.5. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how much those guys kind of interfere with the championship battle. Obviously, at the moment, Alfa Romeo, if it stays how it is, have pretty much got it wrapped up. Tundra hasn't set a lap yet, although I think he is currently on a flying lap, so we'll see what comes out of this as he comes through the final actual corner. There are corners after it, which they're just flat, so they don't really count. But the Red Bull's about to come to the line. We'll see what kind of time he can do. If he can put it up there with the Alfa Romeo boys, they might have a bit of a harder time of it than they were thinking. He goes
only
eighth only. So third and fourth, and the Red Bull in eighth would be enough for Alfa Romeo. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just how much Wilton's disqualification has an impact, because I think it is going to have a relatively large one, unfortunately, and I'm sure Wilton is going to be kicking himself if Red Bull lose the championship, because that, as Corny goes fastest to 108.466, about 500ths clear of Kiko in second. So here we go, the Alfa Romeo boys are turning up to the party now.
Indeed they are, and I'm just hearing now that Wilton was disqualified because his car got beached. That's the information I have right now. But yeah, that could really harm Red Bull's chances here, especially with Tundra only getting that 8th position. But of course, the race is still all to play for. We know that the Red Bull drivers do have some very good race pace. We saw Tundra being involved in battles just last weekend, as well as Wilton also being in constant battle for first, despite how it did end in the end. But of course, the Alfa Romeo is currently in first and fourth in qualifying. and that's going to be really good grid spots for them to be starting on, and it's going to put so many cars between them and the Red Bulls that, you know, if they stay that far up, there's a very good chance they're going to take the constructors here.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be something that we want to keep an eye on as the race goes on, I think. Obviously, we've seen in the past that that these two Alfa Romeos do have really, really great race pace when it comes down to it. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they can really convert this qualifying into something magical during the race. And I think Scrub might have let through Racing Mouse without realizing that Mouse was going on another push lap. So I think Scrub is now stuck behind. Yeah, and he's turned off his battery immediately. So Scrub is going for a double warm-up lap. That's interesting to see.
So Scrub going to put some more wear on those tyres. It won't be too much wear, but it is going to be more wear. And around the circuit, you want as much grip as you can actually get. There's a lot of very fast... Oh, come on, that's a big spin from Racing Mouse. Hitting the curb there and just losing the car. Spins around like 3 times.
Yeah, up over the top into Xing Pao. That's a really difficult corner to get right. Coming out of the double right-hander, coming up over that crest can really unsettle the car. Especially, it didn't used to be so bad in the old regulations, but in these cars with the ground effect, when you come up over a crest like that, the rear of the car always gets very light. By the way, talking about what I was saying earlier with Splatbeef, he's now gone P4 with a 108.812. Just 300ths ahead of Scrub, who is about to start his second qualifying lap. Here we go.
My game has crashed.
That's not ideal. Is the stream still up? Because I can talk them through what's going on.
Stream is still up, but I believe my game has just
yes, you've left the session.
Died.
Right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep you up to speed with everything that's going on whilst Mackie attempts to fix his rather broken PC. The Tundra, Red Bull of Tundra gets out of the way of Scrub, who went purple through the first sector. This could be a massive lap that is about to come in from Scrub in the Alfa Romeo, and you know that he wants it. These guys know that there is a Constructors' Championship up for taking. Scrub also knows that there is the chance to become the only back-to-back race winner of Tier 3 this season. That is how competitive it has been this season. Here we go. How far up is Scrub? Is 0.6 of a second up. If he gets a good X out of it, that looks very, very nice. This could be very, very close to being a 107. This could be very close to being a 107 from Scrub, and he's still got time for a final push lap. Here we go. He comes to the line. What's it going to be? It's a 107.999. He gets into the 107s by just 1,000th of a second. He is 4.5 tenths up on his teammate. They are looking rather clear of the grid at the moment. That is massive for Scrub. Kiko currently 0.025 up. That would not be enough to put him in front of Corny, but it would take him a step closer. Let's see what it is as he comes through Curva Grande here. And he's 6 seconds off the pace now. So I think he's slowed down and is going again. Yeah, he very much is. I think he's going for another push lap. I'm going to try and keep an eye out on everyone that's coming to the line now. We've got a lot of drivers coming to the line. Farwaz is coming to the line. What's it going to be for Farwaz? It's going to be a 108.746. He moves himself up a little bit, as did his teammate in front of him. He's gone up to P5, which puts Tundra down into P10. He's currently on a lap. He's not going any faster. Let's see what it is as he comes through the second sector split here. What's it going to be? He's 300ths up. That will not find him any places at the moment. So he's gonna have to watch out. He's got guys behind him that are going faster, but not necessarily fast enough. Chris J with a 109.346. I think he might just be starting his flying lap rather than ending one. Indeed, he is. Hynut is 5 tenths up at the moment. That's going to put him in front of Tundra, who goes 2 seconds slower overall after having an issue out of the final corner. Hynut in the Alpine is going to come to the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be good. It's going to be a 108.859. He puts himself up to 8th and pushes Tundra out of the top 10. There's not been any further change at the moment, I don't believe. I think we've got Racing Mouse is on a lap. This might be his final lap of the session, with only a few minutes to go. One of the Alfa Romeos is on a lap. It's Corny. Corny is on a lap. Here we go. This is going to be interesting to see. How much can Corny get out of this car? How much? I mean, if he can get any closer, it'll only be good news. Mackie, have you got some good news for us? Please say you
I
do.
do. I have just managed to get everything back working again. I still have the audio issues. I was really hoping that that might fix something, but we are going again. A lot happened. You did explain what was going on very well. Scrub, very impressive time, half a second faster than anyone else currently on circuit. Was that a Ferrari or something in the barrier? Was I imagining that?
That might have been Racing Mouse, as Corny is going 0.2 of a second faster, 2.6 tenths faster. And Alfa Romeo at the moment are stamping their authority all over this qualifying session. Here we go. Corny's going to come to the line. It's going to be better. It's going to be close to a 7 as well. It's a 108.137. He finds 0.3 of a second. These guys are so far clear at the moment. I doubt Scrub will need to do another lap. I don't think anyone else is going to find their way into the 7s. We might see him coming out of the pits, but I don't think he needs to. I expect he might save a pair of softs in case there is a late safety car. Cover himself off from an Abu Dhabi 21 situation. I shouldn't mention that. Everyone will go crazy in the chat.
You're not wrong. It's quite the point of controversy within
No,
F1, even though it happened like 2 years ago now. So
yes, we do a little bit of trolling. Oh, here we go. Wilton's posted a video of what happened to him. I'm going to watch it and tell you.
we will find out that information momentarily. But as we can see, we've got a few drivers currently on their laps. Got Kiko's going 1/10 faster on their previous lap. That won't be enough to currently improve them on their time, but we'll get them closer to Corny currently and solidifying a third place. Racing Mouse has just gone 5th with a 1087. Let's see here. A lot of drivers have decided to stay in the pit lane. There's still 2.5 minutes left in the session. There is enough time for them to exit the pit lane and get a lap in. And Ollie, do we have any information on what happened to Wilton?
Yeah, so Racing Mouse, it wasn't the first time he'd spun up, going over the top into Jean Pao. By the looks of things, oh no, it was Chris J and the other Ferrari had spun and was sat on the curbing on the left-hand side out of that double right-hander. Wilton took avoiding action, spun, and the car just beached itself. As he reversed a little bit to try and get out of the way of the track because his front end was just sticking onto the track. He reversed out the way and it just got wedged. There was nothing it could do. Nothing he could do at all. Really unfortunate for him.
And Kiko does further secure their third place position by about 1/10. Did go about 1/10 faster on their previous lap. But I'm seeing here these Alfa Romeos, they're looking incredibly fast right now. And Tundra, the only Red Bull left, hasn't even exited the pit lane.
Yeah, Tundra he's down 11th. He's just coming out the pit lane now. He's just leaving behind, I believe that's Jordbear in the Alpine. He's about to come out behind. Will he have enough time to get to the line? I don't know. If it could stop displaying a yellow flag in Sector 1, I might be able to find out for you. But at the moment, that's all the information I'm getting on my screen. It's just yellow flags all the time. Here we go. He's got 1 minute and 4 seconds. So no, he's not going to make it to the line. He's left it too late, and he's a silly boy. He might, actually.
Oh, and that's a advertising board going out as we saw a Ferrari going across the track pretty recklessly, causing the Red Bull to go into the grass. And that is looking like Tundra, 45 seconds. Then there's another advertising board. Tundra is absolutely like just destroying the track. He's clearly mad that exited the pit lane so late in the session. I think probably about 30 seconds left, maybe 25. As I keep speaking, the seconds are slowly going out here for the Red Bull. Red Bull in the final chance.
He's not going to make it to the line. 24 seconds. Oh, it's going to be really tight for him to make it to the line. It's going to be really tight.
He's going to have to truly push here, going through the final few sections of the circuit. He's really trying to get any heat left in those tyres. 10 seconds to get to the line.
10 seconds. I think, by my best calculations, he might... Oh, no, it's gone. He's not going to make it.
That's the checkered flag.
Flags out.
And both Red Bulls are outside the top 10 in this qualifying session. We're going to see the two Alfa Romeos take the front row. Unless Dragon, who's on a purple sector 2 right now, has anything to say about it.
He's 2.5 tenths up. He could put himself third here, ahead of Splatbeef. How much time has he found out of that final corner? Dragon, who said his maximum was a 108.5, is now going to pull a 108.3 and put himself third on the grid. That closes up the battle at the front a little bit as well, going into this race. It looked like for a while it was going to be the two Alfa Romeos and then everyone else about 16 seconds behind.
In fact, we've got yet another driver who's looking like they could get third or fourth here. The Mercedes is just coming through the final section. They were very up on their sector 2. So we're going to see what they found in sector 3 here. They get a... They take second!
Well, I wasn't expecting that. By 5,000ths of a second, Kazuto goes ahead of Corny.
And that's really going to put a dent in their game plan here for Alfa Romeo. They were hoping to lock out that front row, and they just haven't been able to. And it does not look like Hainut has found anything, as that is going to be your starting grid. We're going to have Scrub on pole for hitting the 107s, but there's going to be Kazuto, or... Sorry, say that again.
Kazuto.
Kazuto, yes. We'll go with that. And then Corny in third.
I'm just going phonetically, bro. It's spelled Kazuto, so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, we'll go with that. That works for me. But here we go. This is going to be your starting grid. Scrub, Kazuto, Corny, Dragon, Splatbeef, Kiko, Racing Mouse, Forwaz, Hainut, Yourbear, Tundra, Chris, Misty, and EQ. And then Wilton, who got disqualified very early on in the session, starting 15th. So this is going to be both Red Bulls starting 11th and 15th. They've got a lot of the grid to work through to get ahead of those Alfa Romeos to confirm their first place in the championship.
And I tell you what, this top 10 battle is going to be intense. We've got 1.026 seconds covering the top 10. This is going to be an absolute scrap for any and all points that are on the table in this final race.
Of course, it's not just at the top of the constructors or at the top of the drivers that we're looking at. There's all these midfield battles as well that are also happening. Everyone's looking for as many points as they can get, despite the fact that the drivers has wrapped itself up at the top. Wilton is still going to be looking to get ahead for Red Bull in the constructors. This could be a very exciting race that we're about to see here at Interlagos.
Well, yeah, I mean, Williams, Aston Martin, and Mercedes are all in the fight for third in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Those guys are all in the fight for that for those positions. So it could be really interesting to see what happens. At the moment, it's looking like it's going to be pretty dry. I don't know if we'll get any rain. It can change quickly at Interlagos. As always, the pit members dutifully standing somewhat inside each other and almost T-posing, but not quite. The standard for F1 EA, everyone, the multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Indeed.
They make good games. They're not broken at all.
It's their pre-race stretching routine, you see. They've got to be completely prepared for putting new front wings on these cars when they all start crashing.
Yeah, for real, for real. Oh, God.
But
Brazil moment.
What do you think the race could look like here? As we are taking a concerningly long time to load. I wonder if they're just doing some extra setup work. But Scrub for the win. I'm willing to put money on Scrub for the win.
I'd really like to put my money on Scrub for the win, just because I know it's his favourite track and he will cry himself to sleep if he doesn't win. But at the same time, it's so chaotic and there's so many people that are so close to each other. And we know that safety cars are likely around here. There's a lot of high-speed corners where the walls aren't particularly far away. Turn 1 and Turn 2 are almost definitely going to be chaos. So it can all fall down to whether you manage to box before a safety car or after it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It is going to be lights out and away we go here in Brazil.
Indeed it is, and they get away, and Corny gets a good start, gets immediately ahead of Kazuto, going into the first turn. This will be both Alfa Romeos. X-Tin turn 1, turn 2 ahead, and that's Williams spinning out immediately at the back there. But as we continue to see here, the Alfa Romeos have made a brilliant start here, along with the Red Bulls as well. The Red Bulls have made it into 9th and 10th. Wilton somehow got ahead of Tundra, and the Red Bulls have made a brilliant start into their charge that they need to make to get close to the Alfa Romeos to keep their 15-point lead that's in the championship right now. Ollie, that was a start.
Yeah, I don't think anyone except Scrub held position off that start. Everyone has moved except Scrub. He's the only man that stayed where he started. Yeah, interestingly, I've got the tyre information up. I don't know if you do. Wilton is on the hards with Tundra on the mediums. The Red Bull's going for a split strategy. Unlike the Alfa Romeos, both of those guys on hard tyres, they're going to have to watch out. Splat Beef, who has shown a lot of pace this season, is right behind them, and he's on the mediums. So they're going to have to watch out for these opening laps where those mediums are very, very competitive as the hard tyres struggle to get into their working window.
Indeed, and interestingly, the Red Bulls appear to be going for a split strategy here, and it's looking like Tundra may have more...
Wilton's in the pits. Wilton's in the pits. He must have damage.
Wilton has immediately come into the pit at the start of this race. This is...
I will tell you if there's any damage. Here we go. Is it going to be a front wing change? It is. Yeah, he's missing that left front end plate. I completely missed that. It's a front wing change for the Red Bull, and if that doesn't help out, Alfa Romeo, I don't know what does. It's not the first time he's boxed on lap 1, by the way. He did it in Japan as well, and then went to the end on a set of hard tyres. That was insane. They had like 80% wear.
All the drivers really struggling to keep within track limits here. We're going to see many warnings being distributed already, and Tundra isn't finding the pace to make any positions up as the Ferrari spins. Chris has spun. It's going to give Tundra one free position here. Goes up into ninth.
He's beached. Chris J is beached. This will be a safety car.
Chris J has beached, is completely stuck here, and will not be able to get that car re-going, and we're going to have to send marshals on track to recover the car.
I think he should be able to reset to track. Yeah, he's been disqualified from the session, and it will not move. The AI is trying its best, but it can't do anything. So we might be seeing a safety car here.
I do not think...
Corney's lost a few positions. Corney has lost out during that. I don't know whether there was maybe a touch from Splatbeef or Kazuto, but he's dropped down into 4th. At the moment, with Tundra only scoring the 2 points in 9th, it would still be enough. But we'll have to wait and see whether he can make any of these positions back.
Now, of course, Red Bull here are going to be really, really hoping for a safety car. That's basically their only hopes left. I know Wilton's fast, but is he that fast to make up the 23 seconds it is to catch up to 12th? As Tundra makes another move, Tundra will move past Misty and go into 8th place. Tundra is going to be really, really looking for these easy positions here. As that's also Forwaz going around the outside of Misty. Forwaz looks for it, does find it, has slipped down the inside. That's going to be Misty losing 2 positions in the space of just a few corners. Yeah,
Misty in the McLaren not having a fun time of it. At least he's in the points, unlike the actual McLaren. So, you know, you got to look at the positives, right? There's always a silver lining. Here we go. And there's still a massive DRS train here. As Wilton's spun on those mediums going into Zhengpao. So I think that's going to put him pretty much down and out unless there is a safety car for now. But yeah, these top guys are still all in a DRS train. Well, Kazuto's not anymore, but they were. Corney's only 2/10 behind. Kazuto's going to have to watch out. I expect Corney might sniff a position here coming into turn 4.
And Splatbeef's looking incredibly fast. Actually looked for the outside there at the end of the straight, but of course Scrub was defending. But this DRS could start causing problems for Scrub very soon, as those tyres are just currently working for Splatbeef. And Splatbeef just has got the fastest lap and just has so much more pace. I don't know how Scrub's going to be able to hold on here.
Tundra going up the inside of Hynut. Is he going to keep that? It looks like Hynut's going to have the inside for the next corner, which can be vital. Hynut doesn't take a great line, neither does Tundra though. Although Tundra now has the inside coming into towards the end of Sector 2. Oh, there's contact behind, It's Racing Mouse and Misty have made contact. Dragon is up to 10th. Misty gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. I'm sure he won't view it that way.
Indeed, we'll probably not view it that way. None of the drivers really view their own collisions as that. Of course, I did not actually get a good view at that collision. But Tundra is starting to make progress in this grid. Of course, it's all good for Tundra to be making progress, but Wilton also needs to be making progress for Red Bull to have any chance here. Because even currently in a... Splatbeef's managed to get ahead of Scrub. When did that happen?
DRS into turn 1. Oh, Hynut's out. Hynut's out coming between turn 1 and turn 2.
Safety car. We do have a safety car.
Oh, this doesn't help anyone. No one can box. I mean, you could box for the hards, but they'd be at like 90% by the time you get to the end of the race. So it's not really going to help.
Wilton's pit. Wilton has entered the pit lane.
I reckon he's going back onto his original hards, and here he's going to try and go to the end. It's going to have to be a quick pit stop, though. He doesn't want to lose out. Oh no, those guys are still under. the timing limit. So yeah, Wilton has gone back onto his 1 lap old hards, and he will be going to the end on those tyres. Mark my words, he'll be going to the end.
Wilton will try and get to the end, but will they last the amount of laps they need to? It's still over 30 laps till the end of this race. I'm not sure the hards are actually going to make it, but of course Wilton, I'm sure, knows what he's trying to do here and will hopefully make it. But of course, Hynut, the one bringing out the safety car, did have a crash going through turns 1 and 2, I do believe.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But I think what we're going to be most looking at here is what can Scrub do off the restart on Splatbeef. Splatbeef's going to have the better tyre compound, the compound that's going to have the most heat in it. As we see Tundra and Forwaz also enter the pit lane here.
I think that makes sense for Tundra. I don't think it makes sense for Forwaz. I don't know what he's doing. He can't switch to mediums. They won't go to the end of the race, but he does. But maybe he's banking on a later safety car. Unlock the pace on the mediums now, and then use a late safety car to resolve his problems. That's possibly what's happening here. Forwards has gotten ahead of Tundra in the pit lane. Tundra clearly not having a great reaction on his pit stop, or possibly fixing some damage, because he's come out about 6 seconds behind Forwards now. So possibly some damage fix for Tundra there.
In fact, if there was damage for Tundra, this was the perfect time to pit. May lose a few positions on track, but you're not losing too much time, and you always have the opportunity to re-overtake. But I'm also wondering what Corny can do here off the restart. Both Alfa Romeos are in a position where they want to make a couple of places on the restart here. Is Scrub going to help Corny get past Kazuto? Or...
I think... No, go on, you finish what you were going to say.
Or will Scrub chase after Splatbeef and leave both Alfa Romeos to do their own thing? Because of course we're going to have 3 laps now without any DRS, which is going to help Splatbeef keep his current position at least for a few laps.
I think Scrub is on the better strategy, first of all. Having the mediums at the end, especially at a track where grip is so useful, having mediums at the end with lower fuel load means that starting on the hards is really beneficial around here. This safety car actually will have helped him, because otherwise Splatbeef quite possibly could have pulled away and gapped him. That hasn't happened now. And it's not going to be long until Splatbeef is thinking about pitting. So actually this safety car coming out means that gap stays close. Splatbeef loses more positions when he boxes. He gets stuck behind more traffic. Whereas Scrub will be boxing around the same time as all of the drivers who are currently on the hard tyre, which means that he will come out in far less traffic than Splatbeef will. So I think actually Scrub, as much he might try and keep his eyes forward. I expect he'll want to make the move past Splatbeef, but I think he knows that at the moment he doesn't need to make that move. So I think he'll be happy to somewhat stick where he is, but if an opportunity comes up, don't doubt that he'll go for it.
Indeed, a racing driver will always go when an opportunity does arise, but it's how many opportunities will arise, because Splatbeef has been a very consistent driver once he gets up into the high positions so far this season. And so I don't think Splatbeef's not going to make it easy for Scrub. Scrub is really going to have to look and try and make Splatbeef make a mistake. But that's going to be difficult. But I'm really just wondering, what can Red Bull actually do from all the way back there?
Push like hell and don't spin. That's essentially all they can do. They've got to go maximum pace without making mistakes. They need to be absolutely clinical. Make the moves when you can, even if it's a bit risky. Most drivers will tell you that if a move isn't more than about 75% on, they won't go for it. In this situation for Red Bull, that boundary has got to go down. They've got to take some risks with what moves they're going for, because they need to make these positions right now. And some people might say it's the opposite way around. When you need to make positions, you're more conservative. You don't want to damage the car. But this is the final race of the season, you know. If they try and make the move and there's damage and they lose a position, then they lose a position. If they don't try and make the move, they get swallowed up by the guys behind and lose 4, you know. So I think it's got to be pretty much maximum attack for the Red Bull pair right now.
Maximum attack indeed. And I assume we'll see the safety car come in at the end of this lap. The grid has grouped up. They are reforming themselves. And Splatbeef here, I don't think I've seen a Splatbeef restart, so I can't really give any insight onto what Splatbeef's going to try and do here, and what Scrub needs to be ready for. But of course, the tyres on Splatbeef are going to be better on the restart. But
well, I think You've
No.
also got to remember we've got a long way down to turn one here. It is flat all the way out of the final corner, all the way to turn one. It's a ridiculously long way. The only reason it isn't classed as the longest straight in F1 is because it isn't straight Mexico compared to Mexico. So safety car is in this lap, but Splatbeef will want to make it as close to the line as possible because it minimises the slipstream. That's going to be Splatbeef's tactic here. He'll wait. He will wait. He does not want Scrub picking up any slipstream into turn one. And you can see already, Splatbeef is weaving. Scrub is straight as an arrow. He is absolutely dead straight. None of this weaving. He doesn't want to weave because he knows that when he goes one way, Splatbeef will plant it and he'll get caught out. Scrub is keeping it dead straight here. Here we go. How soon to the line does Splatbeef leave it? He leaves it quite late. And I think Kazuto's actually got the better start. He's on the inside here. And Kazuto's going to make a move past Scrub. He goes way deep in turn one. Scrub's going to try and get him back coming in towards turn four. That's not the restart Scrub needed.
Absolutely not the restart Scrub needed. Scrub loses the position on the restart here to another hard runner. He's going to now actually fight to take that position back because he knows that Mercedes, with the current tyres, will have the advantage in the pit stops being ahead. But Splatbeef, was just perfect on that restart and completely caught Scrub off guard, but the Mercedes behind just wasn't caught off guard and managed to just slide straight past Scrub's Alfa Romeo, and that was very clean from Kazuto.
Yeah, it was a really good. It was a really good start from Kazuto. He managed to just slip it up the inside. He went deep enough to scare Scrub off of the apex, but not so deep that he had a shocking line through turn two where Scrub could just cut him back. So it worked out really well for him, yeah. And I tell you who's gained massively is Jordbear, who qualified in, if I remember correctly, I believe that the Alpine was P10, and he's currently P5, so he's made up a nice little handful of positions there.
Indeed, has made a few positions indeed, likely from those pitting ahead, a couple of incidents that have happened, and Wilton makes a position. Oh, however, this is still an ongoing fight for this position. Of course, Wilton really needs this position. Wilton got pushed off the track a bit by EQ, and there's a car in the middle of the road. That's AlphaTauri spin onto the track. The road makes contact, but no one gets hit. Everyone is okay apart from that AlphaTauri, and the AlphaTauri has sustained front wing damage. Will stay in the race, however. But that's going to have caught Wilton very off guard, what just happened.
Yeah,
Misty was in the middle of the track.
Yeah, and then EQ was also in the middle of the track. That was absolute chaos for literally like a fraction of a second. It all unfolded in about a second and a half. But yeah, that was chaos. And the Red Bulls are now back in the points. So, yeah.
But both Red Bulls are in the points, but they're only scoring 3 points between them. Whereas the Alfa Romeos are currently scoring, got to be, 27 points, which is enough for them to take the championship. Red Bull need to improve here, but they have fallen back just a little bit, thanks to that absolute chaos, which I will now show on stream and hope this doesn't crash my game like it did last time.
Do you think it might be a strategy not to show it if last time it crashed?
It's all good, it's fine. There's no issue. Seeing Scrub make a position on Splatbeef, as Kazuto did make a position previously, and that's going to be the medium tyres dead now, right?
I don't think it is. I think there was... I wasn't looking at it. I was looking further down the grid, but there may have been a little bit of contact with Kazuto and Splatbeef, or possibly Splatbeef being shown the edge of the track or being shown the inside of this curbing. Because as you can see here, the driver's using a lot of the curbing, but then not going over towards the outside of the curbing. The curbing is really flat until you get to the either very inside or very outside, at which point you get this massive ledge, which causes you to lose all your grip, essentially. So I don't know whether Splatbeef was maybe shown the outside of a track there. We'll wait and see.
Indeed, and Corny wasn't able to capitalise. Splatbeef, Scrub takes the lead! Scrub takes the lead of this race, uses DRS, goes into turn one, plenty ahead, and that's going to be Scrub back in the lead of this race, followed by Kazuto, Splatbeef, Corny, and then Yourbear somehow bringing that Alpine up into 5th place. But of course, Scrub's going to be really keeping an eye on Kazuto, who now has the DRS behind and gets really close, almost touches the rear end of Scrub. But they continue to go around, and Scrub continues to keep his 1st place, at least temporarily. Perryland has left the session.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who is really helping the Alfa Romeos right now is Kiko in that McLaren. He is currently 1.5 seconds behind the car in front, and he is scrapping with Tundra like you wouldn't believe. He is holding up Tundra quite a lot. He's on older hard tires, and he is just holding Tundra up. Every time Tundra gets close, basically Tundra DRS overtakes into turn 1, and then Kiko DRS overtakes back into turn 4, and then holds him up all the way through the rest of the lap. So Kiko really helping the Alfa Romeos by keeping the Red Bulls at bay as it stands. Here we go. Are we going to see Kazuto into turn 1? No.
No, Scrub will keep that position. I wonder if that's tactical to keep the DRS into the second DRS zone, which we have seen quite a lot of in recent races. Is going to look for it. Is gaining. It's not enough gain though.
No, not enough.
He is going to have to stay behind Scrub there. And we have seen Misty just retire in the pit lane after spinning quite a few times. We are now down to only 12 drivers.
Yeah, unfortunate to have it come down that much, but you know, you can't really do anything about it now. 2 of them are from crashes. One of them was from a spin, actually, with the beaching, so I don't think any of them are anyone's fault. Misty, clearly, just possibly not in the right mind frame for racing at the moment. As EQ takes the fastest lap, he's also on the soft tyres, so I don't really... well, no, it does count for something, but he's also 12th, so he doesn't get the point, so not really.
Indeed, I'm not exactly sure what EQ's strategy is here. I guess he's just deciding to just have a drive. It is the final race of the season. I believe that was the Red Bull switching position.
Yeah, the Red Bull swapped, and that was before the DRS zone. Before the DRS zone, so clearly that was, I think that was a tactical thing. These guys are now, Kiko's now 2.6 seconds back from Dragon. Here we go, is Kazuto going to make his move into turn 4? Scrub defends the inside for all his life. Scrub is going to, oh, there's contact. There's a bit more contact.
Oh, that's Kazuto goes round.
Yeah, Splat Beef now in first. Corny is going to go past Scrub, who... Does Scrub maybe have some damage? I don't think he does. I think he's managing to keep control of that car for now. But surely Splat Beef has got to be in within the next 2 or 3 laps.
Splat Beef will be in very soon. But Kazuto's race has just been, I guess, ruined in a way. Getting was there contact spinning around? Did he just hit a curb funny?
No, it was... I don't know if it was the exit curbing on turn 4 or if it was contact. But there was essentially not much room left at the apex of turn 4 by Kazuto, and then I don't know if it was if there was contact on the exit of turn 4 or if it was just being squeezed to the curbing. But yeah, Kazuto going around.
If I show you the replay here of what just happened, we're gonna see that they are I had the Red Bulls on at that point, but then. We'll switch over, see that they're battling, goes through turn 4, and that was an exit curb. That was entirely the exit curb that caught Kazuto off guard there. I don't think there was any contact at all.
Oh, that's going to be really annoying for Scrub then. If there was contact, you could understand, you know, Scrub not being too frustrated at having lost positions. But the fact that there was contact definitely means that Scrub can't be too annoyed about having lost out the positions there. No, he can be annoyed about having lost out the positions there because it wasn't his own fault at all.
And he did have to slow down because there was kind of a Mercedes in front of him. But that is going to be very disappointing for Scrub. And Scrub and Corny are going to have to work out who's faster here and who could try and chase down Splat Beef. But that gap has now extended to way over a second. And I think they're just going to have to wait for Splat Beef to pull the trigger for the pit lane.
Splat Beef staying out again.
Splat Beef is now on 15 lap old medium tyres.
So it would now be 20 laps to the end if he was to box this lap. So I'm assuming it will be this lap or next lap, 16 or 17 laps on those mediums, and then either 18 or 19 laps to the end on the hards would make the most sense.
Indeed, that's still quite a long way to have been making those mediums go. But we'll they've got to be screaming at this point, right? There can't be much left in Splat Beef's tyres.
But we had about 4 laps of safety car, so that would have extended the life of those mediums.
There's contact between 4 Waz and Scrub as they go through go through the corner there, but it's going to look like both of them get away, but that's going to have lost Scrub even more time and Forward's time as well. And that was also another bit of unfortunate contract that's related to Scrub, and Scrub's race has gone from going very well. It's suddenly starting to fall apart here for Scrub.
Yeah, I don't know if... Oh, EQ has retired in the pit lane as well, so we're now down to 11 people. EQ had a spin on that last lap. He is retired in the pit lane. The gap at the front is now 1.7 seconds. Splat Beef, you would think, is going to be coming in shortly. And I think maybe once Scrub has got his head back in the game, it might need to be Scrub that goes ahead of Corny here, because I think Scrub does have more pace.
Indeed, and interestingly, Kazuto is now going to start causing problems for these Red Bulls. As it's all going down on the main straight, Kazuto has more pace, looks for it, has the inside line going into turn 4 and finds the position, and that's going to have to be Tundra slotting in behind. That's going to be more points lost for Tundra in this championship battle.
Yeah, Kazuto showing Tundra the outside of turn 4 there, very much so, which is he's within his rights to do. He was ahead. But yeah, Tundra being shown what the outside curving at turn 4 looks like in close detail. So yeah.
Very much so. And this battle here, I don't think Scrub is actually any faster than Corny right now. Because, like, Scrub has kept a very consistent gap. Splat Beef has entered the pit lane. This is now going to be Alfa Romeo's chance to try and build that gap. They have maybe 5 laps before they need to come into the pit lane. And Scrub's looking down the inside. I don't know if Corny's letting him through. I think they are actually racing for position.
We're seeing a position switch here. That's why Scrub broke so early into turn 1.
Forwaz is right behind them as well. And we're going to see Scrub has the DRS, doesn't look for it. I don't think they're actually switching. I think they're fighting for position.
Maybe not. Which is weird. I'd say they really just need to try and pull away. I mean, Farwise isn't their battle right now. He's on 12-lap-old mediums. He can't go to the end. It's mathematically impossible with the tyre wear in this game. He can't go to the end. He would get either a puncture or be like 8 seconds off the pace. So he can't go to the end.
And Kiko has spun. That's going to let the Red Bulls through. The Red Bulls have now been let through as Kiko is no longer blocking them. There's a 4-second gap between Dragon and Wilton. How long do you reckon Wilton's going to take to make up this gap?
I don't think it's going to be long. I think the more worrying thing for... I don't know. I don't think they'll get to the end on those hard tyres. In fact, I would find it almost impossible for them to get to the end on these
As Scrub does go through
tyres.
And takes the lead off this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think possibly they realised that they didn't have the threat of Forwaz that time. That's possibly what drove that switch.
Indeed, that is very likely. Forwaz will have to stay in 3rd, but Scrub is now ahead of Corny in 1st, and they're going to have to go for it. It looks like Wilton is going for a battle on the Mercedes, goes down the inside, finds the position. The Mercedes is about to come back, doesn't come back, and that is going to be Wilton now taking 5th position, actually keeping 5th position, at least now until the next DRS zone. And it's all going on here for the battle for 1st. There are 4 drivers now involved for this battle for 1st, as Dragon has joined the party, with 5.2 seconds then behind to Wilton.
So I would say that Scrub and Corny have probably got 3 or 4 laps left on these tyres now. It needs to be essentially maximum pace for these guys. They need to come out ahead of Splat Beef. That is their only aim right now, is to come out ahead of Splat Beef. And I think that is why Scrub is leading this train, because he is on fire with his pace right now. That lap was exactly half a second slower than his best on 19-lap-old hards. Scrub is finding everything in this car right now, absolutely everything. As Kazuto and Wilton are fighting again, Tundra might find his way through on the inside here. There's almost contact, very almost contact. Here we go. Why have neither Tundra or Wilton got DRS? I'm so very confused by what's happening.
I do not know, but I wonder whether they're for a DRS detection zone at +000 and it just bugged the game out. But we're going to see here that Kazuto almost made the move on Wilton, and he looks around the outside. That's going to give Tundra the inside, but too far back to actually make the move stick. And this is causing the Red Bulls more problems than they need right now. Wilton's dropped back to 6 seconds behind Dragon, and Red Bull don't need this right now. Red Bull need to get this Mercedes out of the way, but this Mercedes isn't going to go out of the way willingly. As we continue to look at the front of the grid, and they're going to even out now. Corny and Scrub have managed to get at least a little bit of a gap to the Mercedes, 4 miles behind. Those medium tyres now reach that 15-lap thing.
Oh,
and
5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's for speeding in the pit lane. So that's, I'm assuming 20 laps is all those tyres are able to do, which means that Wilton and Tundra are both going to have to box again, which will put them behind all of these people who... It will put them behind Splatbeef, Dragon, Jawbear, Kazuto, probably not Racing Mouse. Probably not Racing Mouse. But it's going to put them behind a lot. Oh, Jawbear has spun. Yeah, coming through turn 2.
Very unfortunate there for your bear. But we're going to see. We now have Alfa Romeo 1-2. We then have a Mercedes of 4 wires in between who does need to pit again. We've then got 4 and 5, the Red Bulls, who will need to also pit again. Those tyres are not going to make it to the end. Splatbeef, who has tyres that will make it to the end, is currently in 6th. And then everyone else is also on tyres that will make it to the end. But I don't know if Alpha's strategy was the correct one.
Oh, Wilton's got a penalty! Wilton's got a penalty!
Wilton has received a penalty.
That could be huge. That is a 3-second time penalty for Wilton. Obviously, at the moment, that would only lose him 1 position to Tundra. It wouldn't make a difference overall in the Constructors. But after the pit stop cycle, and especially if there's a late safety car, that 3-second penalty could have, I'm going to say the line again, massive championship implications.
It absolutely could, especially with such a big gap right now. This big gap that's now going to slow Splatbeef down in his... Oh, wait, no, sorry, no, Splatbeef's got the 9-second gap. Don't worry, Splatbeef has all the clean air that he needs right now. I don't think there's enough gap between the Alphas and Splatbeef that they're going to end up coming out of the pit lane ahead of him. No,
the Alfa Romeos are going to come out behind, but it's not going to be by much. It's going to be, I think, by about 4 or 5 seconds. And they will be on new medium tyres compared to 4-lap-old hards. Or what will be 5-lap-old hards by the time these guys have come into the pit lane. Let's see who blinks first out of the Alfa Romeo duo. It's going to be Scrub blinking and Corny? No. Corny looked like he was going to come in and then stayed out. I don't know if there was a little bit of indecision there. But Scrub into the pit lane. I will keep an eye on where he comes out so you can continue commentating on any battles.
Indeed, and there are currently... Wilton will get ahead. Both Red Bulls are now ahead of Scrub. Splatbeef will also, by the looks of it, get ahead of Scrub here. Scrub's exiting the pit lane. Splatbeef's coming around the final corner. It's going to be very close between Scrub and Splatbeef. And
yeah, this is a lot closer. I think we're going to see this kind of 4 or 5 second gap that I'd predicted just a minute ago. It's going to be slightly less than that, actually, I think. Let's have a look.
It's only going to be 2.5 seconds.
That's really good. That is really, really good for Scrub. That is not going to be a lot of time that he needs to make on those medium tyres. As we saw, Splatbeef earlier was making time on Corny, even when his medium... Sorry to interrupt, but
Dragon goes down the inside of Scrub, and Scrub does lose a position. It's going to really harm Scrub's... Now, Scrub needs to charge. So he needs to charge at Splatbeef. That gap's already extended up to 3 seconds. And it's Dragon ahead, not Scrub. Which now means Scrub has even more work to do than originally predicted. Corny stays out another lap.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I think Scrub is going to try and get Dragon down the next 2 straight. Wilton at the 20 laps. He's got another 12. Those won't do 32 laps. He's going to have to come into the pits. Yellow flag, as we, I believe, have got a spinner. Is it Racing Mouse? Yes, it is Racing Mouse on the inside. Kazuto goes fastest. That could be interesting. 4 hours in the pit lane. Scrub gets a time penalty.
Scrub and Wilton now both have time penalties. This is another massive championship implicating moment as Scrub goes back past Dragon into the final DRS zone on the circuit, keeps the position through turn 4, and that's going to be Scrub back up into 5th position and starting that charge for Splatbeef, which is now 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, so he hasn't lost a lot of time overall. Dragon has gone for that move again into Xing Pao. This is just, I don't know why his fight isn't really with Scrub. I don't know why. Well, I guess it is actually. They are racing for position, but Scrub's just going to be getting annoyed by this. You know, he's got bigger and better battles to be having, and he knows he's faster than Dragon, and Dragon knows that Scrub is faster than him. So this will just be aggravating Scrub at this point. Just be
It will
annoying
be,
him.
and they've got both Mercedes also now
Wilton's in the
catch
pit
up
lane.
behind.
And Corny. Corny's in the pit lane as well.
Okay, so
Corny is going
Wilton,
to lose out a lot more to Splat Beef, I think, than Scrub did.
Wilton gets held. No, that was just desync. Never mind. So
Wilton's on softs. Oh, isn't that the little bit of spice we needed for
okay,
this race?
this has changed the strategy that we thought we were getting immensely now. So Wilton's now going to make a charge on his softs. He's about 8 seconds behind. Corny's come out in 5th behind Scrub, so hasn't lost as much to Splat Beast we could have thought he would. That we thought he would have, but they're still dragging in the way, and there's still 2.3 seconds between Dragon and Splat Beef. And Alfa Romeo want this 1-2 so desperately, and Tundra is currently in 1st, but will have to pit again onto the soft, probably like Wilton has.
Yeah, Tundra will probably have to pit again onto those soft tyres, which would put him, well, it would put him down behind Wilton, because Wilton was ahead. So that would put them 8th and 9th, and it would put Scrub on the podium and Corny in 4th. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think that might be... I'm going to have to whip out my calculator, man. Ah, God damn it, here we go. It's time for Ollie to be on maths watch for the next however long's left of the race. 10 laps.
And Scrub goes down around the outside of turn 1, has to concede the position, doesn't find enough room. And Scrub is getting aggravated now. It's still 2 seconds to Splat Beef. And that gap between Wilton and Kazuto has come down dramatically. And Wilton could cause real problems on a soft set of tyres here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Wilton is probably really trying to find his way into this race now. Scrub, however, I don't think is going to be sat behind Dragon for much longer. That gap is really tightening up. Although he loses a bit through the middle sector there, he's not going to be happy about that. But Dragon at the same time is moving closer to Splat Beef, so Scrub might be happy to just sit behind Dragon and see what comes his way towards the end of this race. Is Tundra going to be in at the end of this lap, having done 20 laps on those hards? I would not be surprised if
He's not, he's staying out.
No, yeah, he stays out. I expect he will be in within the next few laps, though. He can't do another 10 laps on those. It's not going to happen.
I mean, it might happen, but I wouldn't recommend it. There's definitely potential risk, especially in such a high-stakes championship. And I think Scrub has decided to just concede that Dragon will stay ahead, at least for now. But they are catching on Splat Beef. The medium tyres have definitely come into their perfect operating range now. And Scrub catches up to Dragon, doesn't look for it, but they are getting very close to that 1 second barrier they need to get to within Splat Beef. And it's gone down to 1.1. It will only be another half lap before they bring that under 1 second. They'll have DRS go into the next DRS zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wilton is setting fastest laps, but he's not making a massive dent on the guys in front. And I'll tell you why that is. It's because the guys in front are in a wonderful little DRS train that Wilton doesn't have any access to. So Wilton gains loads of time in the corners from that soft tyre, but down the straights, everyone else is going 17 kilometers an hour faster than him, due to that DRS advantage. That is why Wilton is not making the inroads that you might expect.
And the DRS will not come this lap. They did not make it to 1 second at the DRS detection point. They're still about 1.1 seconds, despite having dropped to 8 temps previously. But Scrub does have the DRS. They're just waiting for Dragon to get this DRS so that they could catch up on Splat Beef together. I wonder if Scrub is just waiting to see if Dragon makes a move on Splat Beef and then just goes through past both of them.
No, Scrub's going for it now.
Scrub is going for it now.
Enough.
Scrub will get ahead of Dragon and break that 1 second barrier to Splat Beef. Splat Beef's now going to be getting very worried about what's happening behind, as Scrub has now got to drive both offensively and defensively at the same time.
And also, just to point out, when Tundra comes in, this means that we have the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all in one DRS train with 8 laps to go.
It is going to mean we're going to have a 6-way battle for the lead of this race, because both the Alfa Romeos know they need the 1-2 for their best opportunity to beat these beat these Red Bulls in the championship. But of course, Splat Beef also wants to do well. I keep forgetting Splat Beef is currently in second and is only 2 points. No, Peridam's not racing today, is he? No, it's Forwaz in third. No. Yeah, there's Forwaz in third. So 4Waz needs to be ahead of Splat Beef, but 4Waz also has his own battles to deal with. Oh my god, this is all getting very crazy here in the championship. I don't have the numbers open to do the maths right now, but Splat Beef also wants to do well here to keep his second place in the championship. This is Scrub's gone for it. Scrub is past Splat Beef.
Oh, he has. And Scrub needs to make a gap. Scrub needs to build a gap, and he needs to do it now. He's got that 3-second time penalty at the moment. That would lose him 3 or 4 positions. Corny looking to get past Dragon. Oh, he almost shows him a rear wing going through the double right-hander. That definitely would have spun Dragon out if there had been contact there. But here we go. Scrub needs to build a gap. He needs to get away from Splat Beef, and he needs to do it quickly. And at the moment, it looks like he's doing just that. He needs that gap to be probably about 8/10 coming out the final corner. If he really wants to be able to stay ahead. It's 8/10 already. Mixed, he left the session. Yellow flags in turn. Coming down the back straight, actually. These guys, what is going on here? Jawbear and Kiko just randomly going about 4 kilometers an hour directly next to each other. That's weird. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows?
Who knows? That's not a problem right now. We've got to really carry on with this fight. They're going around just like a train, just around the corners. This is a DRS train that has formed. They're all going to really struggle to find the time that they need to go past.
Splat Beef is flirting with that 1-second barrier right now. If Scrub can get out of that 1-second barrier, I think he'll pull away from Splat Beef. And there he is. He's out. He's out.
And interestingly, Scrub's out in 1 second of Tundra. He's going to have DRS down the main straight here, going through the detection zone.
Yeah, and this is the play from Scrub now. He needs to get time. He needs to get past.
He needs to get past Tundra, and he needs to do it quickly. Yellow's in Sector 2. Who's that gone round? It's Kazuto. Kazuto's gone round, and Wilton has moved up into 7th. He's still 3.5 seconds off the back of this pack, though, and not making any inroads as of yet. Scrub will get past Tundra into turn 1. I would expect that gap only about 4/10 of a second. Here we go. The DRS is going to be open. Here we go. And I expect once Scrub has got past, Tundra will box, because I think he's been left out to try and hold him up. And that strategy hasn't exactly worked out.
I don't think Tundra will. He'll lose too many positions. It might as well... It's just going to find it better to just try and keep track position here. And try and get as many points out of that car as possible. But Tundra is coming back with the DRS on Scrub. Those really old hard tyres still have enough left, but don't have enough left. And Scrub will keep the position, as Scrub really, really needs to think about gap building right now.
Yeah, it'll be less of a problem against those 25-lap-old hards. That's painful.
There's going to be barely any grip left in that car right now.
And if anything, Tundra's strategy here has played right into the hands of Scrub. I wonder if Tundra's now going to try and hold everyone else up and try and get Wilton to come through. Even though there's still over a second gap between both 4Waz and Corny and Wilton to 4Waz. Is going to have to really, really try and keep hold of that position if that is the strategy that's at play here.
Yeah, that gap to Tundra is already over a second. I think Scrub needs to pull as much time as he can before Splat Beef can get through. I'm going to quickly check and see. Splat Beef has essentially no ERS. Tundra, on the other hand, has quite a lot of battery to play with, or at least significantly more than Splat Beef does. So I don't know if Splat Beef will find it easy to get through as of right now, even with that gap only being 3/10. He's got Dragon to fight with. Here we go. Dragon's had a great exit, and this is great for Scrub. The more these guys... Oh, Dragon almost... Oh, he does. He goes for the move on Tundra. Tundra goes off the track. I think Tundra went off on his own there. He saw Dragon appear and kind of just went off. Wilton picks up another time penalty. That's going to be 6 seconds now for Wilton, and that will put him down and out in 7th. It's all going to be about Tundra. How many points can he hold on to? Dragon is going round his outside. That's a brave move to make. He's going to hold it. He's got the inside line for the next corner. Does he stay ahead?
Dragon makes the move. Dragon does make the move and does stay ahead, at least for now. Of course, the DRS zone is coming up just ahead. They've got to keep Splat Beef behind as well. But Dragon, that 3-second gap has been breached, but Dragon has a lot of pace, and he will be looking to try and get back within that 3 seconds to take the win here. But Corny as well is looking at Splatbeef right behind. And Corny side by side. They've all got DRS. Everyone
Oh
here has DRS.
Days, it's all going on.
It's only Dragon that doesn't have the DRS. It looks like Corny is going to concede the position. But that's also the Mercedes coming in down the inside. Forwaz coming down the inside. Forwaz takes the position. It's going to move Corny down into 6th. Corny's coming back. But Corny will stay ahead. But I don't know who has the DRS here.
Both of them. Everyone. Again.
Everyone has the DRS. Forwaz is still looking for it. Forwaz has the inside line. Forwaz will take the inside line into turn 4. Comes onto the exit.
What a beautiful switchback. What a switchback from Corny at turn 4. That was wonderful.
And Corny will keep that position at least for now. We're on lap 33 of 36. Scrub has a 3-second penalty, but a 3.3 second lead. Tundra then behind, trying to hold up Splatbeef and everyone else. 8 attempts as Tundra will no longer have any DRS.
Yeah, and that could really seal it for Tundra with Splatbeef only just behind and Corny only just behind him. I think we might see Tundra kind of tumbling down in the points paying order now. And I think Splatbeef has still got to watch out because Corny is still getting better drive out of the corners and through the corners. In fact, Corny using his ERS early to try and get that gap closed early on as well. Splatbeef goes to the outside, Tundra's on the inside. Here we go, let's see what happens here. As Wilton comes into the pit lane. Wilton, oh, he's got a 31-second gap. He's boxing for, is he boxing for maybe lightly used softs or possibly even brand new softs?
He's going for fastest
He's got
lap.
brand new softs. He's going for the fastest lap to try and take that final point. Corny is going through on Tundra. Splatbeef managed to get past Tundra as well. So Splatbeef now 3rd, Corny in 4th. He's going to be looking to get himself onto the podium before this race is done. He's going to have 2 racing laps to do it.
He is going to have 2 racing laps to do it. We still have Scrub, of course, keeping his 3-second penalty to his name. It's still 3.3 seconds. He's been keeping that gap very consistent through the last few laps. We're going to see now Forwaz goes through past Tundra. Tundra's strategy has clearly not worked. I saw what his strategy was, but it's not going to happen. But Corny is still looking. Corny needs to get this Alfa Romeo just a couple more positions up. Just as many points as possible. And going to keep going. That's a 3.2 second gap now. Scrub needs to improve his times. He needs to lap a bit faster than Dragon is right now. I'm going to keep going through on the lap right now. Forwaz is dropping back to about 1 second to Corny. Corny is the only one here who has proper within range DRS. Corny has the DRS going down the main straight on Splatbeef. And they're going to look for it. Doesn't look for it into turn 1. Stays back. He's going to look for the DRS activation on the second DRS. So he's right up behind Splatbeef. He's going to look for it. He's going to look for it. Has the medium tyres compared to those hard tyres. Goes for it. Goes round the side. Has the inside line going to turn 4. Goes down the inside. And that will be Corny taking 3rd position in this race. Moving Splatbeef down into 4th.
And that would all but seal the World Constructors Championship. In all fairness, if Corny had stayed in 4th, it would have sealed the Constructors Championship for Alfa Romeo. Moving up to 3rd is just those bonus points and podiums. So yeah, Corny doing a really, really great job in this race. Those mediums, as I said, towards the end, having the mediums at the end, lighter fuel, better grip, it's really paying off for him compared to those hards that appear to be now struggling on Splatbeef's car. He might lose out on a position to Forwaz as well. Splatbeef,
if he loses out to Forwaz, I'm going to have to check what the gap is there.
It's only 2 points. The gap is only 2
so
points.
So if he loses out, Splatbeef will lose out in the...
Yes, this is...
be equal. If this position change happens, they'll be equal on points. They'll be tied 2nd in the championship.
So Splatbeef is really going to be really fighting to keep this position as we have entered the final lap, lap 36 of 36. We're going to see his Scrub is still ahead, despite having that 3-second penalty, will stay ahead and has the 3.6 second gap. Scrub just needs to drive calmly here and keep Dragon behind. Dragon closes the gap to 3.5 seconds. But it's going to look here. Splatbeef really has Forwaz attacking. Forwaz just goes down the inside, doesn't find a position. I think Splatbeef's biggest worry is going to be at the start of the DRS zone coming up to the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be, for Forwaz, it's just going to be get as close as he can be out of that final corner. You've got a decent time with DRS to try and get past going towards turn 1. So it is just, don't use any ERS through the lap, dump it all on that final straight, get the DRS and try and get the position. The problem is for him at the moment that Splatbeef has the DRS as well.
But they come around the final corner. Scrub enters the final straight and being the first back-to-back winner in DRC Season 5, Tier 3 is going to be Scrub, and that is going to be Alfa Romeo taking the win in the World Constructors Championship. And that's also going to be Splat Beef is going to take second in this championship, followed by Forwaz and then Corny in fourth. Oh my god, what an end to that race, and unfortunately Red Bull do lose out. Oh my god, that was quite the end.
Red Bull have lost out, and this is about to be a very, very excited scrub that we're about to get in the in the comms box. I have a funny feeling.
It will be indeed. That's going to be Corny, Dragon, and Scrub being your podium sitters. That was such a good race to end off our season here. Season 5 is now over. That is Tier 3 Season 5 over. And that's going to be Wilton, your driver of the day today, and your World Drivers' Champion, as confirmed last race. But Red Bull will have to concede to second place in the Constructors as Alfa Romeo overtake them and take the win of the Constructors, despite that 15-point gap they had entering today. And here we go. We go onto the podium. And Scrub, you're being your back-to-back winner. Second win in a row here. In fact, being the only person to get 2 in a row in Tier 3. I'm not sure about Tier 1. It's probably happened several times in Tier 1. Ollie, you might want to just confirm that for me.
Yeah, we have had
Tier 1.
back-to-back winners in Tier 1 this season, yeah.
Yeah,
Scraffy and Edgen.
That has been round 12 of 12 here at Interlagos. Scrub winning, followed by Dragon, and then Scrub's teammate of Corny taking third. Alfa Romeo having 2 brilliant weekends in a row. Oh my god, there was just so much happened in that race. And he fought off that penalty as well, which is very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Scrub, it was an absolutely monstrous race. Absolutely monstrous. He had what maybe wasn't an ideal start on that first stint on the hards, but then on those mediums, it was just relentless pace. He knew when to make the moves. He knew when to be sensible about maybe not overtaking a Dragon, and when to make the moves, and it really worked out for him. And it's ended up with them taking that Constructors' Championship.
And that is your final grid. I don't have enough time to speak through it as it's about to end, but that is going to be your final grid there. Scrub taking the win, and he said he'd take the win, and he did come through and take the win, despite looking very sketchy at points. But I think we're going to go into some interviews here. I believe we want to hear from Corny first, if that's possible, Ollie.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring him up now. Actually, do we want to hear from Dragon first and then get both the Alpha boys in here at the same time?
In fact, that is not the worst idea I've ever heard. Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh.
Yeah, hello. You've been moved.
Hello.
So, Dragon, that was an insane race. I'm not sure where that puts you in the championship. I haven't done the maths yet. But
I'm not sure, but higher than I was.
But how hard were you fighting to try and get within Scrub's 3 seconds knowing he had that penalty?
Honestly, I wasn't. I part of me was like, you could fight, you could go get it, but then I was like, you know what? There's no point pushing the tires for it. I wasn't in the second sector. I was always faster than I was one of the fastest on track in the second sector, from what I gathered. First and third, I had nothing though because it's all straight.
Indeed. So didn't push Scrub as hard as probably could have. Is this a DRC conspiracy? I'm
No, this was just it wasn't in my interest.
Fair enough.
I knew what I could do if we were closer together near the end in the second sector. I would have had him, but on the straights he had me.
Indeed, Ollie. Anything you need to ask?
I mean, you made some really, really great both defensive and offensive moves during this race. Obviously, Sector 2 was a massive one for you, especially after the double right-hander. You were so confident on the brakes going to that downhill right. I think you overtook Scrub a few times there, and a couple of other cars going into that corner as well. Was that a favourite one of yours? Was the downforce really helping you on the brakes into that corner?
From what I can tell, I was running high a lot more downforce than everyone else. Well, and not like massive, but like enough. So whenever it came to that second sector, I could pretty much just go, if that makes sense. I didn't have to worry too much about the tires around them because I had more downforce. So the inside outside line I could keep. I think there was near the end there was a part with Tundra, I think it was, where me and him just battled the entire second sector, and I just pulled out.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, I watched that battle happen, and clearly the arrow helping you going around the outside of what is it, turn 9 or something, the left-hander right at the bottom of the track, going around the
Yeah.
outside there doesn't work unless you've got more downforce, and clearly that's what helped you through there.
Did it last season. I'll do it again this season, and you know what? I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna do it again next.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and of course, talk about next season. That is now the end of season 5. That was round 12. Have you got any plans for next season? I assume you plan to stay driving.
I plan to stay driving if I can. I know the system changing. If I can stay with Williams, I will happily stay with Williams because I just like their car more. So, not a fan of having the display on the steering wheel.
Fair enough.
God, you're in the minority there.
I think it's better on the steering wheel personally, but each to their own. So you plan to continue driving next season. Well, I hope you enjoy your next season. I would normally ask about what your plan is for the next race, but there is no next race. I mean, have we got a calendar for next season yet?
No.
I don't believe
No.
so.
Oh well, that's a shame. Well, congratulations on second place. Good luck next season. And Ollie, is there anything else you want to add?
No, it's all good from my side. I'm just ready to bring up these Alfa Romeo boys now.
Oh, I can imagine they're buzzing.
From what's going on in Tier 3 chat, both of them are rather hyped up right now. So this could be the most energetic interview we've ever had.
I will say, let me just pass on my apologies to Scrub for holding him up through a good chunk of the race.
It made our job much more interesting. So don't apologise to us.
But yeah, no worries. You guys have a good time.
Indeed.
Yeah,
You
thanks
too,
a lot,
and
Dragon.
We look forward to seeing you drive next season.
Catch you later.
Right.
So,
I guess it's time to bring up the Chaos duo then.
It is. We'll bring them both up together. I'll drag Scrub. You drag Corny.
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
I told you, boys. I told you it was happening.
I knew
This
it.
is,
I knew
yeah,
it was written
it
in the
was,
stars.
yeah, it was written in the stars. It was the DRC script. It was happening. Sorry, boys.
It was.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
just
have the
like-
script in front of me. I just had to make it really interesting with
Yeah,
with Dragon holding you up half the race and all of that.
Oh, he wasn't holding me up.
Oh, you were just choosing to stay behind.
I was staying behind him to stay in the DRS and just have him tow me along and save up my battery.
That's what I said. I said Scrub realised that Dragon was moving towards Splat Beef as well. There's no point
Yeah.
overtaking a man who's already moving you closer to your target.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we actually had a race engineer for the first time this season. We had Whole Filler. I would like to say thank you to him. Kept
thanks
us
for
both
calling.
calm. And yeah, it was his suggestion that I stay behind him. He was just like, "Stop fighting." I was like, "All right, okay." I'll stop.
We'll do, Chief.
And then magically, I just watched my ARS battery just go up and up and up, and I was like, Saw a flash of red light, saw the opportunity, knew if I left it a lap longer, he would have been in the DRS of Splat Beef himself. And yeah, just ran with it.
Well,
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
your strategy as well was much superior to that of the Red Bulls, who were obviously your main competitor this race.
Yeah, what happened? What happened to them?
Wilton
Wilton
hit like
had-
50 times.
Wilton had lap 1 damage. He had to come into the pit lane, boxed onto the hards. Then at lap 24, he boxed onto the softs to try and take your fastest lap away. And then those wouldn't go to the end, so he boxed onto new softs again to try and get the fastest lap again. But I don't think he did.
No.
Ooh.
I'm not 100% sure it did. I think the. One second, let me pull the. Okay, that's being a nightmare.
The start just
Uh,
basically just ruined this whole race. Sad to be, but great to have the constructors as well.
Indeed. It was looking a bit sketchy for you at points, Corny.
Yeah,
You moved down quite a few positions, and then you just at the end managed to slip back into third. So
yeah. I
congratulations on that.
thank you, thank you. I had a battle with lots of people. There was few space, so I had to concede a couple of positions to later get them back. Really good with the P3. Was lucky the hard runners were down and we did a long extended stint on the hards. That really helped us.
Yeah, a lot of people were running long on the hards. You were definitely one of the longest you pit. I think 3 laps after scrub.
Yeah.
In the end, which again worked. I mean, you managed to get third. You've locked out that constructors championship. You have won it, assuming no one gets any penalties for anything. I don't think you would be getting penalties for anything.
As long as I remember, we didn't do anything.
But
So
Well,
yeah,
I had that moment with the Mercedes.
was there actually any contact made, or was it the curb?
There was contact made, but I don't know if it was a fault from either of us, to be honest. I think it was just one of those unfortunate hard racing moments. You know, it was a good battle. It was a good fight. I don't think it was. It's not like he cut in front of me or I turned into him. I think it was just one of those moments that happens, unfortunately. I did
Yeah,
get wing damage. I had wing damage, and I kept it for the rest of the race.
Oh, so you won the race, had wing damage, and were still able to get that 3 second gap. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, but
pretty impressive.
I wasn't going to, and then the pack behind started battling like
They
really
did.
hard, and I gained like 1.8 seconds in like a lap and a half.
Yeah, it was something absolutely insane like that. But yeah, Ollie, anything else that you need to add? I'm running out of things to ask.
I don't think I can add anything because it's going to involve swear words that include my jubilation, and I don't want us to get banned on Twitch.
Yeah, no,
So-
let's not get ourselves banned on Twitch. We'll, I'm sure you can pass those on to us once we get into another VC.
I think they're in the
thank you,
tier
boys.
3 chat somewhere.
Oh, yeah, no, I think I've seen him. Yeah, thank you for commentating
Yes.
again, boys.
Really appreciate it.
But yeah, I hope next season is as good as this one. I really do.
Yeah, I was just
Or
about to
even better.
ask. Have we got any?
Especially if you're in the Red
rumours?
Bull colours.
Is that a hint?
Come
You did not.
on,
You did not. You did
scrub.
not. You did not
It
just. You
It
did not
is
just
a
do
hint.
that on Twitch.
A Mercedes fan into a Red Bull. Yeah, not gonna happen.
Do I need to? Do I think I need to get
Think
hold
about it.
of the financial authorities?
Have we got frauds happening already? then?
Yes.
There's
We didn't
controversy before it's even happened.
Yo, don't hate on me. We literally saw a screenshot from Pockets of Whole Fella being like, hey, here's the sign-up sheet. Here's the contract.
Whoa. Let's not make
That's
accusations.
yeah. Let's not make
All right,
excuses
no,
this
both of
way.
you are gone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
What a great end to the season.
Indeed, a great end to the season. We got some rumours now to talk. No, we won't. But yeah, that was an amazing race to end out the season. Interlagos never disappoints. We should end a real life season at Interlagos. Just in general, I think we should. But
we used to, and it was brilliant.
we did, but then we start going to other tracks, and it's just not as good. Then we get Latifi moments, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been an incredibly successful season across both tiers. I guess just congratulations to everyone who's taken home championships, whether it's drivers or constructors. A massive thank you to you, Mackie, as well for coming and joining our commentary crew this season. It's been busy jumping around between tier 2 and tier 3, between YouTube and Twitch.
And even that tier 1 race I had to do that one time as well, and the
Yeah,
2020 league. There's a lot going on.
He's doing it all, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, I don't know what we'd do without him.
I appreciate that, and it looks like Corny's just subbed to the channel as well. 6 months, so thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I
And
guess
thank
we'll
you to
see
everyone for
all-
racing. I think that's been said, but thank you
Yeah.
everyone for racing, actually making it
absolutely.
interesting for me to commentate, because I am relatively new to commentating. It's been a good first season for me, and yeah, and thank you especially tier 2 and tier 3 for making that. Well, tier 3 sort of. No, sorry, tier 2 sort of. Tier 3, always good racing.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to conclude our final stream, the tier 5 season. Thank you, Ollie, for joining me. And
Yeah.
we're going to go now, and we'll be back in a few weeks' time with season 6.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Adios, I guess.
Goodbye.